Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. You know, this year is all about Blueprint for Success. So we're super excited of our theme for March, which is a blueprint for ethical living. You know, everyone should want to have good ethics, values, and be the person that you know that you're supposed to be, and not wonder who's watching you when you do what you do. You should always do what you do based on who you are, right, Tony?
Yes, ma'am. I couldn't agree more.
And I want to welcome Tony. He's my guest today. I'm so excited to have you back on. Please tell everybody about yourself.
First of all, I want to say thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I've been thinking about this all day. I'm sending the link out to some of my friends and family, so hopefully they'll be tuning in soon. But a little more about myself. I am from Jacksonville, Florida. I was born in Tallahassee, Florida, but I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. I was raised by a single parent mother. I moved around a lot in between my grandmother and my mother. And I think that having a balance between, different structures really shaped me into the man I am today. Um, I played sports my entire life, um, but I think school was very important to me. My parents were big on education and just doing things the right way. So, just in life in general, I started off in Jacksonville, went to college at Florida State University. Then after that, I had a 8-year NFL career, and now I'm a current coach, football coach now. And I enjoy it a lot. So sports has been a part of my life for a while, but I try to not be defined by sports. I'm a Christian man first. I still have a long way to go. Not perfect by any means, but I strive to be better. And I keep good people around me to hold me accountable.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I can attest to that. I love working with Tony. We've been together, about 4 or 5 years now.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You keep me straight.
I don't have much work to do with him, though. I can say that. So great, great, great. Good evening, Peggy, Deacon Holmes, and is that Neely or Niffy Moffat?
Oh, Neefy. That's one of my boys I went to college with, actually.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
So we are super excited to get on with our topic today. And, as we go along in the world and the world is changing, people change, you run into people that you've known for years, but they don't seem to be the same. And hopefully we have grown for the better. But, the millennials and the Gen X's and Y's, they do things totally different than we probably have seen in the past, which is a good thing because they're bringing a lot to the table. So we're super excited about that. However, we never know when someone is watching. People sit back very quietly. Sometimes they're waiting for you to make a mistake. But for the most part, I think a lot of people will sit and there's somebody that they admire and they watch that person. So you're a role model and you don't even know it. So that's what we're talking about today. I see you. You never know who's seeing you. So always have on your P's and Q's.
I couldn't agree more.
That's a good
thing. I think that just touching on that subject about you never know who's watching, I think that it's important to, as a watcher, as a learner, I think every day I try to learn something, or I'm looking to learn from other people. But I think just knowing what you're seeing out to learn. I think a lot of people just, think that they're going to stumble up on some type of success, or they're going to stumble up on, whatever they think they want to be or they want to do next. But you have to be somewhat intentional at an early age. That's more so for the youth. They have so many outlets, to see and look at things, whether that's through social media, whether that's through, their parents, their friends, and they're exposed to people all over the world. More so back in my day, we only had the people in our neighborhood to kind of see. So they have so much more to explore, but they also have so many more distractions from what's reality and what's, superficial in life. So I think just being intentional and the parents and the people who are old enough to have a direct effect on them to kind of guide them through that. So no matter what happens, they always have a home base to know, what's the foundation or what is it I'm trying to accomplish, or to look at a good example. I do think it's a bit more difficult to teach the youth, but I do believe that we just have to meet them at their level. Right. And not just think that we can, do it the way that we're used to doing it. So if they enjoy, TikTok, then we have to, make educational videos for TikTok, and maybe they'll see it. We can't just say read a book because they listen to audiobooks. So we have to find a way to put a book on, auto. So it's many ways. I think the older generation just has to find a medium to meet our younger generation.
That's good. And that is, so true because like you said, times have changed. And like I say, a lot of times I'm here trying to help young men, but this is not always the place that they're going to come and listen to me. So, I have to use those other social media sites or whatever, just like you mentioned. So that's good. Yeah. All right. And y'all make sure that y'all get in here and comment because we're here to have fun and learn and get some good information. So, Tony, the young men that you work with, as we are, talking about, they live in a different generation that you came up with.
Mm-hmm.
So, seeing you, do you find a lot that they do a lot of that? Just that they base their lives off not so much what they hear, what their parents are saying, what you're saying, but what you're showing them.
I think it's a bit of both. I think they still have the core values of listening to authority, whether that's a parent, coach, a teacher. I think that'll never go away because, that's who the parents feed them. Their teachers give them grades. Their coaches, if it's sports, they, determine the amount of time they're going to play. So I think that there is still some, they listen and they hear what you're saying. I think it's more so you just have to try to get them to blur the distractions out. In sports, we have, you have a coach that coaches your team or coaches that coach on the team, and then kids have outside trainers. So now they're hearing from a trainer and a coach. So you kind of have to either work with the trainer or find a way to like meet them within that medium. So it doesn't seem like, you're against whatever else they're doing outside of you. And I think in sports, it's a set standard for, the top of the top. So myself, I was blessed to, be at the top of the top in football. So I think it's an instant respect. It's an instant, they pay attention. Now, whether they do everything I say or, say or not say, that's kind of to be determined. But it's an instant respect. So it's kind of like if you're qualified, you're qualified in what you do. So people will respect you and listen, more so than someone who's not qualified. But I think in sports, there's a blueprint to it. You have, people who have done this for many, many years and they do the same thing that guys do now. It's just a little bit different because you have more cameras now. But waking up in the morning, having discipline, that's never going to change. Having manners, being respectful, that's never going to change. Being a likable person, that's never going to change. I think we just are more in tune with, we see a lot more because of, the cameras and social media. So we feel like we know these people, but we really don't know these people that well. We just watch what we see. So I think the kids just don't understand the difference. And that's our job as adults and leaders to teach them and show them like, hey, these people make mistakes just like you do. So that doesn't make them a bad person or a good person. So in my realm, I think it's more so just you have to take your time a little bit more and explain the whys. Because they ask a lot more questions. It used to be my coaches said, hey, do this, and we just did it. But now they have to tell them why they're doing it. If you tell them why, then they'll pay attention and they'll understand it.
Yep, it's amazing. I know my 3-year-old, that's his word now. Whatever his parents say, my grandson, 3-year-old grandson, I don't have a 3-year-old, but whatever his parents say, he always say, why?
Right.
And they want to know, so, I like the point that you were talking about, the basic principles, and they never go away. Yeah. I love that because that's what I truly, truly believe, they never go away. 100, 200 years from now, those will still be the standard. So we have to continue to teach that and show that.
I think that, just making sure that the way we present information, and I mean like the tone of how we do things, because, mental health is being talked about a lot, more than ever. I do believe that, mental health can come from depression or, but there are also good habits you can build as far as, not using a certain type of language when you're trying to teach somebody something. Uh,
Right.
Being more kind and approachable when you're trying to get the best out of someone. Now when they mess up and when they're doing things over and over, then you may have to be a little bit more firm. But I think you gain a lot more, or you get their ear a lot more when you approach it, with a respectful attitude or in a respectful way. I think the days of demanding without giving respect is almost done.
All right. That yelling, that just turns off.
Yes, they don't listen. They're shut down.
Yeah. Yep. If you just joined us, we are talking. Our topic today is I see you. So as you go on your day every day, while you're in the store, while you're at church, at work, wherever you are, in the gym, you never know who's watching you. So what are they seeing? That's what we're trying to figure out today, Shonda. Many people feel that they can't change the way that they talk or act or whatever. And they may think, well, my parents did it this way, my grandparents did it that way, and it's okay. It was okay for them. But we have to we continue to say that things change. So maybe 100 years ago, high school education was fine. And it's for some things today, it's still fine because not everybody is looking for that career, that goal that will take a higher education. So,
Mhm.
you might just need to be tech driven, or, be real good with numbers, or be eloquent at speaking. You might, marketing may be your thing. But I still think that as you get older, you should always want to be the best that you can be. So whatever didn't work for someone else or did work for them and it wasn't the best, that you don't try to stay there in that place, that you should want to step up and do better. So on average, do you find that young men want to change bad habits that didn't work, maybe when they were younger and things that they saw? Are they just okay based on what they saw? A lot of times, do they want to continue to get better?
I think everybody wants to get better or be better. I think it just depends on your circle or your environment. Most people have bigger dreams in their reality, and so I think that the fear of like chasing those dreams and being better is what makes people not act upon it, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people say they want to do this or they want to be better or they want to, whether it's, reading or writing or whatever, but just don't have the necessary tools to actually, put forth action to being better. But I think that, the technology helps us because it's easier to find now. You can take classes online from Facebook or Instagram, or you can get information about different programs by just Googling something now. So the excuses are slim to none. I just think that, your environment and the people that you're around can either, make you level up and grow, as my friends and I use, or it can make you just, be complacent and stay exactly where you are. And I had a coach in college, Mickey Andrews, who's one of my favorite coaches, and he said, you either get better or worse. You never stay the same. So either you're getting better at something or you're getting worse at something. So I don't believe in people just staying the same. So I think every day you have to actively, and I would say a tool in my opinion is setting yourself up, like whether that's a schedule or a goal or just writing it down. Me personally, I use sticky notepads. So if I have to do something that day, and I'm bad with like remembering stuff, and I don't know where that's come from, but I make sure I put a sticky pad on my front door the night before, and it'll have like what I'm supposed to do. It may say 1, 2, 3, And I have to do those 3 things today, no matter what. Whether it's putting something on my refrigerator, if I'm supposed to RSVP for a wedding or something, I put it on my refrigerator and make sure I, do it by this date. Set an alarm on your phone, and not just leaving it up to your mood. If you leave things up to your mood, then your mood will kind of tell you not to do things more so than do things, because those things are probably harder to do. They're not as what's the word I'm looking for? They're not as, glowing, or it's not as whatever. Like, people say they want to work out, but working out is hard. People say they want to lose weight. Losing weight is hard. So you have to have some type of discipline. So I think that just creating small habits, and my personal opinion, I don't know if people agree or not, but you set small goals to reach a big goal.
Right.
You don't just say, I want to be a CEO at this company, because that's not how it works. You have to, a certain level of education. So those things happen when you're young. So your younger decisions can affect you when you get older. And I think that, a lot of people look up and they're like 40 years old and they say, why haven't I got this opportunity? When you were 20, you dropped out of school. So you can start there. Or when you decided to not do your work in high school, so you didn't get an opportunity to, have a certain title on your resume by graduating, at a, whatever it is, some or not. So I think just making those decisions early on, and obviously parents matter a lot, no matter what, whoever is in your household and whoever is instilling things in you, they matter. And I didn't grow up with the best structure. So for kids or people who say they don't have 2-parent household, or they don't have a structure, it's not gonna say it's an excuse, but you can't let it determine, where you're going.
Right.
I think for me personally, as a even when I was like 9, 10, or 11 years old, like it's younger than that probably, I just knew, I looked at certain examples and said, okay, I like that. Whether I saw a black teacher wear a suit every day, I'm like, and some people may say it's corny, but I'm like, he has a certain principle about himself. Whether it was an older teenager who was not trying to be cool and curse in front of adults and curse around other people, I'm like, that's the right thing to do. So, as they say now, it's lame to do things the right way, but it's really simple. If you just make up your mind and make the decision each and every day that you're going to do something the right way, the same way you wake up and brush your teeth, that's a decision. Everybody makes that decision because they don't want to stink breath. But, if you had a consequence to not be where you want to be in life, then you would make those decisions, but you don't realize it until it's too late.
All right. Yeah, not like, what you said. Sometimes you just have to do the little extra. Like you said, for whatever reason, sometimes you don't remember things, but you know that. So you do the little sticky notes to remind yourself. Because one day I was talking with my coach and I made the statement that we need more people to be committed. And he said, well, I don't disagree with you. I agree, but I disagree as well. He said, because there are a lot of people that are committed, but they may not have a discipline, and they may not be as organized as you are. So then it just takes them a little bit more. So they have to have that reminder. They may need the sticky note or the to-do list. It's not that they're not committed. They really want to do it. They have a passion for it, but they're not just as, organized. So they have to find that little thing that's going to help them to get done what they really want to get done.
I agree. I agree with that.
So I think that's good. Right. So when you think about, as you came up, you said, your structure wasn't all the best, but we can see that you are very, very successful. You have, to me, excellent manners. Your principles are good. Your ethics. I know you're a Christian. So when you think back, who I guess who was that role model or a couple role models? Did you who made a difference in, what you wanted to do, or the success that you wanted to have, or things that you wanted to make sure that you did not, fall into? Because we can fall into traps. We can have the best intentions, but sometimes we just fall into those traps because we're human.
I think just at first, my mother, my grandmother, I saw them do everything for my brothers and I, whether that was not eat so we can eat. We walked to the store a lot. We didn't have a car.
Mhm.
Just the sacrifices that they made, and also the things you see growing up, and you know what not to do. I grew up around drugs, violence, and I hate to say that because everybody talks about it and it sounds so cliche, but it's actually real. But I will say the way that the things that you see and the things that you see on TV are two totally different things. So I think, I would watch interviews of like Michael Jordan when I was a kid, Shaquille O'Neal, and, just all these athletes and people that I'm like, I didn't say I wanted to be them because I didn't have the courage to tell anybody, but I would just keep it inside, and I would watch how they spoke and how people respected them and how they would just have so the humbleness about them. And
Mhm.
so I said to myself, if these people that I see on TV, and I try to find somebody, locally that have similar traits to them. And I would say I had good. My mom was the only child, so my grandmother had a lot of siblings. So I grew up around a lot of older people, great uncles, aunts, and older people love to talk. That's what I always say. They love to talk, and a lot of things that they were saying when I was younger, I didn't understand it when I was younger. But when I got to college, everything they said and were talking about, it all made sense. And I do believe that um, the things you know what not to do because you see how these people end up that do the wrong thing. I have friends that went to prison. That I grew up with, so I knew that I don't want to. You get in trouble for doing the wrong things. Also, my older brother, he's 5 years older than I am, and so I had a chance to be around him all the time. He took me everywhere with him. I was when he was 10, I was 5. I was playing with kids his age. He always protected me and made sure that I was doing, the right thing. When he was in college, partying and stuff, he took me to the parties, but he didn't allow me to drink, which I didn't have an urge to. So I think just having those type people in your life to help you make the decisions, and then when you get out on your own, those are your habits. But I think that also you have to want it. Whatever people always say, um, you know, they want something, but their actions don't align with what their want is. So I say to people all the time, and in coaching, I do it a lot. It's like you can tell by someone's actions, and your actions are who you are. It doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what you don't say. Your actions are who you are. So I think decisions are a big part of your actions. Um, and I do believe that putting actions to the information that whoever you admire or whoever's in your life, if you just put those actions toward it, then you have a better chance at, being the person you want to be.
All right. That sounds wonderful. So I hope everyone out there is listening. I don't see much chatter in the chat, but I know you have to
My
be
brother,
listening.
my little brother's actually on here.
That one that said low.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
my older brother's name is Low. My little brother's name is Drew. So
okay.
I went for a
Oh,
little
this
weird,
is me.
weird part.
All right. Well, welcome to Build Your Best Life.
And my older brother's on here too, so he probably missed what I just said.
So let's just see. Yeah. Okay, and who is this? Oh, is that your brother as well?
Yeah. They funny.
Jacksonville Trojans. Did you go to Reebok?
No, I did not. I went to Mandarin. That's his AAU program. He has a AAU basketball program in Jacksonville, and they're called Jacksonville Trojans. So they go from ages probably 10 through high school.
Oh, okay.
He's been coaching. He's been doing that for a while, so he's in coaching as well.
All right, Tammy's here. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Great. All right, can you provide us some helpful tips, excuse me, for parents, educators, coaches, parents, anyone that will help them to be great role models and set an example for our young men as they strive to build their best lives? Because we know that they have the intelligence, the smarts, they can do it, but sometimes they need that extra push. So, some tips.
I think I'm not a parent, so I can't explain the emotions and the actual, day-to-day things to a parent. But from the outside looking in, I would say leading by example. The small things. It could be as simple as your language. It could be as simple as the type of things you talk about. Don't never undermine their authorities around them, meaning like, if you have a teacher or a coach, and you disagree with that teacher or coach, I don't think that you should say that around a child, because now the child doesn't respect the teacher or coach anymore because of what you're saying. I think that's something that needs to be talked about with adults. That's from a parent standpoint. I think all parents do the best they can. So I would never give a parent, what something they should or shouldn't be doing, because I'm not a parent. But I think as a leader, I do believe that the company that you keep is important for them to see. If you tell them to, not do drugs, and then they see you and your friends doing drugs, then they're not going to listen to it. Or it's a smaller chance they will listen to it. I do think that doing adult things around kids is probably the biggest thing I see. That's why kids think that they are grown and that they are adults' friends, and they say bro and all these things to adults, because you stoop to their level when you do adult things around them. I think you should always teach them and tell them about adult things, but I don't think they should see it firsthand in their household, because they sit on the internet and they think it's cool. Then they see their parents do it, they think it's cool. I think to this day, I don't really drink around my people like that. It's just a respect thing. Not saying that I can't, but I don't do it just because I don't feel right. I think cursing, I don't curse around kids or my parents or people that are older than me. It's a respect thing. No matter how I feel, no matter how I don't feel, I think just having respect is very important. Because even when you do get to, I always look at it this way. When I got to playing pro football, some of the guys who I looked up to and admired, they were probably the most respectful people I ever met. They said yes, sir, to everybody. No, ma'am. They were on time. They were very accountable. And I think that most people who reach a high level of success have those qualities. I think your character is who you are. And that's when nobody's watching, or when you think nobody's watching. And nowadays, when people are always watching, so I think you need to be on your best behavior. And if you try to be on your best behavior, it'll become a habit. So I do believe in just making sure that whatever you put out there for people to see, make sure you're proud of it. And I think that we can do that through so many platforms, whether that's social media, whether that's going to talk to kids or just in conversation, playing cards, having fun. So I think that's very important. And a lot of people feel like they're not in a leadership position because of, they don't have this many followers, or that they don't make a certain amount of money. I think that the people that taught me the most had least.
All right.
And those are the same characteristics that, the people that do have the most, they have the same thing.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's right. Everybody can teach us something. We have a question on here for you.
Uh-oh.
Let's can you read it?
Hello everyone. My name is question Tony. What advice you inspire athletes that prioritize the importance of having business and financial responsibility, and the importance of trying to be the cool kid on the block? Okay, so to read the question, I think it pops up on the screen. The first question was about business and financial responsibility. I think you got to get some finances before you have financial responsibility. You have to understand the value of whatever a dollar is or whatever it is to you. I don't think I've ever said this, but when I was younger, it's a funny story now looking back on it. But my dad, my mom had my dad on child support. Probably gonna laugh, but so she gave us a month. She gave my younger brother, and I. She gave us $100, like whatever we can do, whatever we wanted to do with it. And I think we may have bought a pair of Jordans, or we may have wanted to go get a video game. But she let us do whatever we wanted to do with that $100 each month, and that was a lot for a kid at the time. And it could be whatever snack you wanted. She didn't want to buy junk food, so we would buy with our $100. And I think that was the first time I was able to, understand the value of like what a dollar does. And, I would go buy a pair of Jordans, but then I couldn't eat the snacks. So I had to make up my mind if I wanted to do one thing or another. And I think I still use that similar tactic to this day by putting myself on, just a budget, a monthly allowance, that we work together. So just making sure that you can teach a kid that at an early age. And when they mess up and when they don't do the right thing with whatever, it could be $10 or that $100, whenever we didn't do the right thing, she didn't give us extra money and say it's okay. We just had to wait until the next month to make the right decision. So I probably made the wrong decision when I was a lot of years because I wanted the nice shoes. But once I got to a certain age and when I got to college and I had to pay rent and do all these things, I kind of understood it because we practiced that when I was younger. And the next question was, you hinted on the importance of trying to not be the cool. Oh, so the cool kid. I think the cool doesn't mean you don't dress nice or people don't like you or you're not funny. Cool means, to me, being cool, too cool is not respecting authority and not doing the right things. And everywhere I go, if I go in a setting and there's somebody who's commanding the room, I look at the other people around to see if they're actually like looking, taking notes, or they're just in there on their phone. Like, to me, that's what the cool kid is. If you're an adult and you go to church with your family and you're texting on your phone the whole time, what you think your kid's gonna do? They're gonna do the same thing. I think if you're supposed to dress a certain way to be in a particular place or around particular people, then you should do that. And I think my mother did a great job of that. She didn't let us wear flip-flops or sandals unless we were going to the beach. If we're going to dinner, we had to wear clothes. If we're leaving the house to go somewhere else, we had to present ourselves in a certain way. So I think that a lot of times the examples of what the kids have, people around them do it, so that's why they do it. So You know, it's kind of in sports. Like when I see a kid walking to the gym with flip flops on, I'm like, he don't want to play. I'm already looking at him like as an observer that that's not something good. So he's trying to be the cool kid. That kid that doesn't have the flip flops, that just comes in the gym with his shoes on, ready to roll out. That's the kid I want. So I think also just making sure that how you speak, as I mentioned earlier, the respect. I would never say, even to this day, I say if somebody's older than me, I say yes, ma'am. You will never hear me say yeah, or and I think the parents have to check that, or whoever you're around, and you can't just lean on your own, not just you. So if you are a single mother or you're in a house with whoever they're in, you have to let the other people who have authority discipline your kids as well. So if a coach is in charge, you're not in charge this hour or two. Let him be in charge. If he's at school, if the kid is at school, let the kids or people at school be in charge. And then when he gets home, you add your 2 cents on. But if you're always in charge of everything in their life, then they don't have an opportunity to grow and learn from other people. And the last thing was how important self-determination. I think that's just, I don't know, I think you have to be, you can't talk about it. Too many people do too much talking about what they want to do. You know, it's like people say, I want to start a business. They've been talking about starting a business for 5 years. Haven't, done any research, anything. So just stop talking and put some action to it. And I think action can be not being afraid to ask for help. And I think that a lot of people, they want to get places in life, but they don't realize that you need other people to get places in life. And some people are forced to do it because their parents don't have everything, or they're not in an environment to where they have these things, so they have to ask. But when people think they have a certain level of education, a certain level of, finance, they feel like they don't have to ask people. But every job or every situation I've been in, it's been because of, I did my part, but it was also because somebody said something good about me to get me in that space. So I think just asking for help, and you can't ask for help if you don't have a relationship. So I think relationships matter. I think, that's not something that's fake. Being genuine develops a strong relationship, and relationships, lead to help, and help leads to more success and more networking and more resources.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for the question. That was good. I think that helped a lot of people. And that was some good advice. Sometimes we think, oh, I got all this money, so I can just, the sky's the limit. But, it doesn't have to last always. One huge bad investment and it can be all gone. So you need to listen to someone that knows, and don't try to just spend everything because you have it saved, and know what you have. Just don't let it be, okay, so yes, I have an agent, I have a manager, I have a financial person, so I'm just going to let them do everything. You have your own business acumen yourself, and kind of know what you're doing, what you have.
Right.
Be smart about it.
I agree.
All right. You have anything else that you would like to, you thought about that you would like to share with us before we close out?
I would like to touch on just from a Christian standpoint, or a faith-driven standpoint, the fact that none of this stuff is possible or can happen without a strong faith line. And I think that when I was younger, I've always had a foundation of faith, but I'm still growing into my faith as a man. But I do believe that the people around you can deter you from being open about whatever it is you believe, or they can help you. And I think when you're choosing, people you call your friends, and people that around. I think that there has to be some common ground in that area. It doesn't have to be the same. You don't have to be on the same level with those people, but I think you have to have some type of common ground when it comes to that. And I do believe that starts your people. When you're growing up, your family or whoever you're around, they kind of give you a foundation. But when you're old enough as an adult to make your own decisions, then that's your decision. And whatever that decision is, I think that make sure that all these things you want in your life align with that as well. And once that part that's never going to be perfect. That's probably going to be that's the glue to everything in your life. And I believe that 100%. And I think that the more I get, the more open I am about it. I don't think I was as open when I was younger. I didn't talk about it. I kind of just, I wanted to be the cool guy, and that wasn't cool at the time. But now that I know who I am as a man, I'm more so, open about it, whether that's in dating, whether that's in, my family, or whether whoever I'm around. That doesn't mean I'm perfect or I do things the right way all the time, or that I live the life that I want to live, which I'm still a work in progress. But I try to make sure that through those flaws, I let people see that, and I let people, maybe learn from things that I do and don't do. But I think hiding it and being ashamed of whatever you believe in is the sign of, not being sure who you are.
Yep. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. And I love my Faith Friday messages. Yes. But I believe that we have to start training early. But those are some of the things that I think are very, very critical. The biblical knowledge and telling people, like you say, they don't have to really have the same faith, but having that person that you can lean on, they're always with you. If they're not on the right side of you, on the left side of you, pushing you, they're carrying you. And those basic principles and those life principles, you need all of that, and it will carry you so far. I'm here to tell you.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. So that's some good stuff. You need to listen to that. But this has been great. I thank everyone for tuning in. I see you. So just remember, like Tony has said several times, we're human. We're not perfect. We've been through some things, and through those things, we've learned some things. And so we should always want to, be our best selves and show that we show the good side of ourselves. And if we say, are we doing that talking? We should also be doing that walking and living, be that example. And so those things are critical, because you never, ever know who is watching you. Because I've had some people say, oh, I've watched you for years. What if I had been acting up and being mean and talking negative and all of that? What would I have been showing them? So you never, ever know. Thank you, Shonda. Shonda says, good stuff. And who is this? So Ebony, thank you. Great insight. Thank you for tuning in. We love it here on Be Your Best Life. Thank you, Tammy. Well, thank you for tuning in. We just love it, love it, love it. So tune in. I know a lot of you are here because Tony's here, but join us sometime. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 and Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. And I just love it, love it, love it. This is my passion, to assist young men as teenagers and young adults, to let them know that, yes, they're going to make mistakes, but they can overcome those obstacles and build their best lives. And then, as well, as I stated earlier, a lot of young men are not going to come on here and listen to this lady talk to them. But we have so many single moms and they're doing the best they can, but sometimes it gets rough. Sometimes they need encouragement. So we're here also to pray for and encourage our single moms. And so I just try to get people to come on that can, show you different facets of what life is like and people that can help you. I don't know it all. I'm not going to try to know it all, but I want people from different factors and facets of life to come on to help as well. So I really, really, really appreciate you, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Been looking forward to it all day, and it kind of gave me a little lift today. So I appreciate it.
Oh, great, great, great. So thank you again so much, and thank everybody else for tuning in. As I stated, you can join us on Thursday. Also, I have a blog that comes out each Monday. My website is www.buildyourbestlife.org. So if you go on there, you can check out the blog. And I am just delighted to be on here. Assisting young men is my passion. I have 3 adult sons, but I'm still there, with them, talking with them, reminding them that they need to pray. They need to seek God in different situations. They need to continue to be respectful and always try to develop themselves and be the best that they can. So, young men are just my passion. And I know our young ladies, we need to assist them as well, but there are probably millions of organizations that assist our young ladies, but young men are my passion. So that's why I am here. And if you relate tuning in, our theme for this year is Blueprint for Success, because you need those goals. You need to know where you're trying to get to before you go on that way. But also this year, we are declaring Jeremiah 29:11 over your lives. God knows the plans that he has for you, and he wants you to have what? Put it in the chat. If you follow me all the time, you should know what it is. He wants you to have prosperity. And also he wants you to have the future that you hope for. So please, 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 write up your blueprint for success based on the plans that God has given you. Follow them. You can't just write them down. You got to follow them, and then try to live your best life. Again, thank you all so very much for tuning in, because you could have been anywhere else today, but you decided to join us on Build Your Best Life. Be blessed. Building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. Take care, Tony, and you'll be back on soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Smith.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.